Okay, this week, the U.S. Supreme Court, it upheld a Biden-era rule that regulates privately made firearms that are also known as ghost guns. Now, here in Minnesota, we are still waiting on the state's highest court to rule on a case that seeks to overturn a state ban on possessing unserialized firearms. Now, our Fox 9 investigator Nathan O'Neal explains how that decision could impact hundreds of criminal cases in our state.
They don't have serial numbers, and I think that's the draw.
The Fox 9 investigator spoke last summer with Inspector Elliot Faust with Brooklyn Park Police.
Most of the crimes that we see that involve firearms, they're ghost guns. That's what we're seeing. Since 2019, that's really when that started becoming the trend. Now it's predominantly all ghost guns.
They've recovered dozens of ghost guns, which are unserialized firearms that can be bought online in ready-to-assemble kits. This week, the United States Supreme Court ruled those kits led to an explosion of crimes and can be regulated by the ATF because they are obviously intended to be, quote, an instrument of combat. But rules and laws about ghost guns are also being debated right here in Minnesota. The state Supreme Court is still considering arguments made back in June that Minnesota's law banning the possession of unserialized firearms is unconstitutionally vague.
This statute has been on the books for decades, and gun owners, just like every citizen and person in Minnesota, has an obligation to know what the law is and to comply with it.
The Fox 9 investigators analyzed state court data, which reveals 170 people were charged under that state law in 2023. That's 10 times the amount from 2020. But the validity of that law is being challenged.
Looking at the plain language, if this court says every firearm in Minnesota is required to have a serial number, then everyone who's in possession of a firearm that was manufactured before 1968 that does not have a serial number is committing a felony.
Okay.
Do you think that state statute should stay in place and stay intact?
I do. I don't think that having a serial number is going to make criminals stop using guns in crimes, but it does help us investigate it. And it helps there to be a little more accountability over who owns the gun.
Inspector Faust calling it a valuable tool in the fight against gun violence. For the Fox 9 investigators, Nathan O'Neal.